Hi, I'm Julia. Welcome to my garden. It is mid-April here in my Vermont garden. I'm going to have to put my sunglasses on. I apologize for that. There we go. Now I can see. It is April 15th as I'm filming this, tax day in the United States. And my garden is just starting to wake up. We had a pretty sustained cold early spring this year. Like it didn't get the warm-ups that we normally got, which is frustrating as a gardener, but I think it's actually overall better for my plants, especially some of my fruit trees that weren't kind of tricked into waking up earlier. So I'm just gonna show you what's happening in my garden now. It's really, really early in the season and I've barely done any work out here. So you'll see a lot of work that's gonna be done over the next 2 months. And hopefully I'll do some tours within there so you can see my progress. I'm here on my front porch where I am hardening off a whole lot of plants. They're mostly cool flowers that like it colder and can tolerate some frost. So you can see I have a whole lot of violets in there. I've got my onions and shallots as well. I think those and my kale and lettuce are the only veggies. Most of the lettuce are actually for spring containers. I like to do a combination of violets with lettuce and some alyssum. I've been doing that for years and it's really a lovely combination. And then I can eat the lettuce out of the containers when it's ready to switch them out for summer. I have some snapdragons there, and there's some bachelor's buttons are kind of the wispier ones that are kind of falling over a bit behind them. There's some feverfew to the left and behind. There's lisianthus, which I'm really struggling with this year. There's more other things too. I don't think I'm going to name all of it right now. If you see little dots, if you can see them from there, that is me. I sprinkled this repels all stuff because there were bunnies and other little critters that were threatening to eat my flowers, and that actually has been doing a pretty good job of repelling them. So I just came out last night and sprinkled, and the snapdragons were a little wet, so I think that's why it stuck to them. If we go over to this side, there's more flowers, and of course, as I said, my onions and shallots and leeks there. Some alyssum. There's also some ranunculus and anemones in trays in the back. Some of them were started before others. And the trees that you see were actually in my front porch planters for the winter, and there's some areas of them that are a little rough. They're white spruces, so they will eventually get huge, but I think I'm going to put them in bigger pots out in the landscape this year, and while I consider where exactly I want to plant them. So out here in the front of the house, there's a couple things going on. I have some winter damage to the boxwoods, but we're not cleaning that up anytime soon. We want it to warm up and see what's going on. But I planted a bunch of white daffodils and some alliums around my hydrangeas last fall. And I think just the daffodils, although it might be both, are starting to come up. And I am so excited. And my hellebores are just starting to bloom. I don't know if I'll get to it this year, but I do want to stick some more hellebores in there and kind of make a bigger patch. Before I take you around the house and to the other side, I actually do want to show you just a couple things out in the orchard and berry garden. Most things are still like just waking up. There's some buds, but there's a couple things I want to show you. I'm walking here into my berry garden. I have some blackberries in the front here, and they're quite the mess. I try to wait to clean them up. I could cut the old canes back last year, like in the fall, but I don't. So there's canes that are from the year before last, which definitely need to be cut. And then anything that's not alive obviously needs to be cut, and I clean them up, and I also tie them to my wires here. But yeah, again, I like to wait because if I clean it up and then we get another cold snap, some of the ones that I left could still die back and all that. So I just don't really mess with it. Blueberry beds are also a mess right now. I'll show you. So I just haven't gotten to weeding out here yet at all. It's been super cold until just recently, but we do have buds. I'm hoping you could see that and it's not too blurry. So those will turn into flowers and then blueberries. We had a great blueberry year last year, and so I'm hoping we can have another decent one this year. And those blueberries where I was showing you the buds, those are my earliest ones. So I have like early, mid, late, so that we have staggered ripening, if you will. So I'm walking into my rose circle. Here's an arch. I don't know that I probably won't usually have roses coming over because the canes tend to die back in our cold. But it looks like all of the roses are alive. I haven't gotten to like pruning and cleaning them up yet. I'm gonna wait a couple weeks on that, just because I've got a lot to get to. So timing wise, I'm waiting to do a lot of my cleanup until we at minimum have consistent days in the 50s for any overwintering insects in some places. And I just feel like it's safer for my plants if there's less risk of it dipping down into like the teens, which can happen. So here is the rose circle. This is really like a before shot. It's really a mess. I had strawberries as ground cover and I didn't like replenish them very well, and you can see grass has moved in. And so this year I'm gonna have to basically dig the beds out. Leaving things like the roses and the boxwoods, but I think most of the rest of it is gonna just be dug out, and I'm gonna hopefully replant with some more perennials and other things. And I ordered more strawberries, so we'll try some strawberries again. They did work really well for 2 years in there. But yeah, I haven't, again, hey Munchkin, I haven't done any work out here, although we do have a couple of tulips coming up. My dad came and planted some with my children in the fall, and they kept getting dug up, so I tried to save them, and so there's just like a 1 or 2 here and there, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And hopefully they'll bloom.
I thought they died. But all of them got digged up and
yeah, but not all of them. We saved a few. This tree here is, I believe, a Norway spruce. It's got such a pretty structure. Like the white spruces, this one is going to get huge. And so I think it'll be happy in this pot for another year or two. I had some blue spruces that were in this pot, actually, exactly, for I think 2 years, if not 3. And they went in the ground last year. And so that's kind of my thought with these. But it's not going to stay here, I don't think, because I usually have a table and chair. So that will be those will be coming out soon. And this will move. I'll probably just move it out into the landscape in its pot. The other things I want to show you out in this area are mostly in the woodland area. So just to orient you here, I've got raspberry beds that need an overhaul, and so I'm hoping to get to those soon. I'm working in the potager a bit first because I've got some stuff that needs to go out there, but then the next priority is the raspberry beds, even before the rose circle. But my woodland garden is coming along. Like it needs a lot of growing, and I need to add stuff. I haven't finished digging out the woodland border beds, so I'm hoping to get that done this year. Probably not this spring. That's probably going to be a summer thing. But there's a couple things I want to show you out here. So first is the service berries. I've got 2 service berries flanking here. These are Autumn Brilliants, and they are in clump form. You can get them in tree form. You can see my shadow. And they are like getting close to bloom. Let's see if I can get it better. There we go. You see those? They're beautiful white flowers. The pollinators love them. They are native, and they make a berry that I haven't gotten to eat yet because the birds are getting them. That's fine. I'm actually growing them more for the birds than for me. Now I'm hoping this next thing I want to show you comes across on video because I'm really excited about it. I planted a heart out of crocuses out here in the fall, and it's blooming. I'm really hoping you can see it. It just makes me happy. And I think maybe next year, well, I'm debating, I might repeat it with Muscari, which I think would show up better. But on the other hand, I do need to be able to come in here and mow relatively early in the season just because I keep the paths down here low. This is the woodland garden, and you can see where I haven't mowed it all this year. But I did just once in the fall go through paths. And the idea is that it'll be a bunch of trees and maybe some shrubs as well. And then I'm letting the grass grow up between them. So That's what this is, and it's really fun to run through here. So most of the stuff out here is still in bud form, but it's good. There's a lot of buds happening, and giving another couple weeks even, I think it'll be beautiful. I love this area. Like May, I've got a lot of good stuff happening in May, so I'll definitely try to do a tour out there then, or tour out here then. I'm not sure if you can tell from here, but my honeyberries are all like budded up and starting to leaf out. And I did come in and just like last week, I think, I pruned them. I don't know if that I had pruned them in years. And I also added some compost to the bottom. So you can see there's a layer of compost and grass poking up in there, which will have to be addressed at some point. I'm going to move closer in here. This is one of my bigger honeyberries. So yeah, they're really pretty. So I hope they do well. You also can kind of get a sneak peek here. I planted muscari in like a little zigzaggy pattern that I'm hoping will look like a little river kind of next to that stump there. So I just thought that was fun. Yeah. And then a lot of stuff that just is going to need to be cut back, and it's not top priority. We'll get to eventually. So this area out here has been super fun for me. I've got some fun things planted that I'll show you once I'm sure they're alive and they look like more than sticks. I'm trying to do a little bridge here I'm going to go over. You see that? I tried just putting this pallet here, and it's just clearly not quite long enough. So, although it's the right width, I think. So I'm going to be trying to build some bridges because we've got these drainage trenches throughout the property, and our property is very hilly. It's almost deceiving that it's yeah, very hilly, lots of slopes, so lots of wet spots because we also have heavy clay. So it looks like my daughter has found something else she wants to show us as I step over this water here. That's where I'm going to put another bridge. Okay.
That I'm using.
Oh, I see. Yeah, these were hyacinth that I planted years ago, and I forgot we're here. I feel like there used to be more, but this area didn't used to be. Here. Oh, there's more coming up there too? Okay.
These are what I'm harvesting and washing.
Yeah, you can see where there's like a drainage pipe in here. This area here was not mowed before, and they decided to mow it last year, the guy who mows, so I'm probably gonna ask him not to. I would prefer leaving the grass, like he just keeps cutting back and back on the long grass because aesthetically I think we have different aesthetics, and I'm actually trying to leave patches of it for wildlife. We have plenty of lawn and plenty of places for the kids to play. I don't need more lawn. Okay, so I'm out in the orchard area. I did prune my apple trees. I did like half of the pear, but I still need to get the ladder out. We're like kind of past the time of year that it's best to do it in, but hopefully I'll actually do it because I need to cut some of the size down and a lot of water sprouts. The apricots are all budded up, but they haven't bloomed yet, which is great because if they can hold off another week or two, then we have a better chance of getting apricots. So yeah, there's a lot of promise of good things to come out here, but we're not quite there yet. So I'll try to bring you back out in about a month, 2 weeks to a month. All right, I'm going to walk around and show you the beds around the house just a little bit. Again, they have not been cleaned up at all. So there's a lot of stuff, but there's some crocuses I planted last fall, and I also planted some daffodils and muscari out there. So some of them are starting to poke up, but they're not blooming yet. But I'm excited about it, and I think over the next week or two, I'm just going to come out a little bit at a time and see, get it all cleaned up. I could see like some fresh growth in lady's mantle. I think most of it is alive. It's kind of that time of year where you're like, are you alive or not? I'm not sure. So things like the echinacea, the phlox, they're a little bit slower to wake up. So let me show you. So in here we've got some Nepeta. That's a Julia Child yellow rose that I'm hoping is alive. And I will figure that out when I prune it soon. There's a lot of little maple seedlings in there. We have the maple tree right there in the background, and that's a Norway maple, which are actually considered invasive to our area. And I think it's because of these prolific seeds that drop everywhere in my garden. So obviously we're leaving the tree. It's beautiful, but you know, don't love the maple seedlings everywhere. And if you don't get them soon enough, they're really hard to pull. So that's a bummer. I don't know, this feverfew, I don't know if that's going to come back. I think I planted that 2 years ago. So feverfew is a short-lived perennial, so it may or may not. I'll have to just cut it back and see what happens. Under here, there's a lot of leaves. There's some like lady's mantle that needs to be cleaned up. And I think there's some bulbs coming up under here. So we'll just have to see what happens. How cute are all these crocuses, though? These are adorable. Some of the I've got some Anise hyssop in there, some Agastache, as well as some of the Echinacea. I need to move 1 or 2 plants, so I'm kind of thinking through how I want to do that, and I don't know if I'll do that the same day I clean everything up. I'll probably just take it a little time, but these are White Wands Veronica that I planted last year, and you can see the new growth, which is just very exciting. Yeah, the boxwood, a lot of the ones here, I think we got a lot of wind. We're on the south side of the house here, and we just got some wicked wind whipping through, and I think so that's what I think happened, because that boxwood there, which was also newer, so it was put in last year, and the ones you can kind of see in the background there on this side of the house, just a lot more winter burn. Like I said, I'm going to give them a little while and see what happens, and then I can trim them. But yeah, I'm excited. This is where my bird bath goes, in here. So I'll be pulling that out. I do know of one night dropping into the 20s in about half a week, and so I'm going to wait at least until after that and take a look at the forecast. The GM is, I love the GM so much. This is the I believe this is Peach Petticoat GM is the variety, and it's beautiful. You can see the purple leaves of the penstem in there. The stuff in front was all annuals, and I did order more annuals. The Clethra, I planted, I believe, 2 years ago, and I didn't prune it all last year. So I looked it up this year. I'm going to prune it back, and actually, I believe a rabbit already helped me start that. So I'm gonna, and hopefully we'll get some good growth this year. There's a lot of weeding to do back here. I want to find a ground cover to put back here, because these get a little taller than I want around. That's the outside unit of a heat pump, and you don't want to block it with weeds, obviously. And I would also love to get some ground cover under just the base of my weeping crabapple here. This is a Ruby Tears crabapple. Yes, and she is glorious. Look at, I just like love her. It's like so unique the way she drapes. So, okay, I'm getting into too much detail here. I got a rose and a clematis there. There's some tulips here that I did not plant that are popping back up. So it's always exciting to see those. And there's lady's mantle in here. There are some irises as well. I'm glad to see this heuchera coming back. The bunnies did a number on a lot of my heuchera, so I've been trying to sprinkle them with repellent after each rain in the hopes that, you know, that they leave them alone enough for them to rebound. This was a mugo pine. It is not alive, and so that will be coming out. I don't know if it was not enough sun or not enough water, because what I realized is that between the maple and the lilac tree, I don't think there's a lot of water getting to this area. And I do have a bigger drip line back there, but it's not, you know, I don't have any drip coming out of it. That's like the solid line. So if I replant something like this, I might try that and then put drip around it. But this was something I found on like 70% off last year. So also it was just, you know, we'll see if I can find something cheap again to replace it with. So I'm hoping these heucheras, it looks like they're alive. Yes, it does. I planted these last year. These are, I believe, Paris heucheras. Oh, and my silver scrolls are coming back. Oh, I love these. These were like the beginning of my heuchera obsession. in case you're newer or missed some other videos that I mentioned this in, I love heucheras. They're also known as coral bells, and they're one of my favorite plants. Mostly they grow in shade, but the darker varieties can handle sun quite well. So I'm just collecting a bunch of varieties of heuchera. Well, you just saw I have just 3 in this one little patch. I have at least 5 different varieties so far. I adore them. So, all right, this area here yes, there is theoretically there's Brunnera and hostas in here. I don't really see either at this point, but they have some time. There's also some bleeding hearts in the back, which I do see. They're like a more lemony, brighter colored chartreuse, maybe. There's a lot of grass in here. This bed will need adjustment at some point. I thought it would be lovely, though, if I can get some of the grass out at some point, to put, if I can find a spot, like a pot in here. And this gets mostly shade for a lot of the year. My maple tree has not leafed out yet, so it's much sunnier than normal right now. This is, I believe, a spirea, which is coming back, but it's really not a good location for it. You can see it's leaning, and I've been saying for years I'm going to pull it out. So it looks like there's a little piece of lilac growing there with it from this one. Both the lilac and the spirea are too shaded by the maple tree. They're directly to the north of the maple tree. And I'm sure when they were all planted, the maple tree was a lot smaller and it wasn't a problem, but now it is. So the lilac I'm not taking out at this point, but it does need a heavy prune. And I say that every year, and it's supposed to be pruned after it blooms. So like in June. And I just haven't done it yet because I love looking at it. But maybe this will be the year. And also the spirea, I'm hoping I can try to move it because it is beautiful. And I don't know if it's the one that's like bridal veils. I think it might be more of a weeping one. Either way, I would love to move it and see what it does in a location with full sun, which I'm pretty sure is what it needs. I almost forgot to show you, I planted some crocuses around the base of the maple tree here. They're kind of hard to see, but they're pretty. I would need a lot more, I think, to really make an impact. And some of them are starting to get eaten by things. But here, there's one in the shade that you can probably see better. But I think it would be lovely to have a lot more. So maybe I will get more next year. Maybe I'll find some bigger ones. Okay. All right, first shot of the potager there. And you can see 5 raised beds. So I built the 5th one. I just finished it last week, which is earlier than I finished the beds I built last spring, which I realized I thought I built them earlier, but I don't think I finished them till May or June, which is crazy late. So I need to be doing other things. I pushed myself and I got that one done. It's sloped there, and so I actually added, it's like 4 inches taller on the right-hand side than the left, and that was a lot of work to make that work. So I'm very proud of myself. And it's already, I finished filling it yesterday. That was also a lot of work. But before we go out there, I mean, there's actually not much happening in the potager right now. But before we go out there and see what is happening, going to bring you back over here just to show you where these beds are. Again, have not cleaned them, but there's stuff coming back. There's really cute little lady's mantle leaves. And there's some other bulbs, some crocuses in there. There's another heuchera. There's roses. Oh, something. I startled myself. There's roses, which look alive, which is exciting. I just need to prune them. Iris, which look alive, which is good. That was my second attempt planting iris there. I didn't do right the first time. I never cut back this hydrangea. This one and the one out by the solar canopy. So those ones need to be done. What else do we have here? This peony. Last couple of years, this peony's been the first one up, so you can see the little red shoots coming up. Those are thick too. Look at that. That looks healthy. That's exciting. My little twin dragons. I don't have twins, but my 2 youngest are just shy of 2 years apart from each other, and their birthdays are 10 days apart from each other. So I think of them as my twins. Yes. Twins 2 years apart, I guess. They get into mischief together for sure. All right, and then we did a couple days ago uncover the table and put the umbrella out, so that's exciting. I can use that. I'm excited to, when I have to work out here. Stuff happening over here as well. Obviously the roses are crazy. This one especially needs to be cut back. Okay, so beyond that hook that holds a solar lantern, that's a bobo hydrangea. They stay pretty small. Not only do I need to trim that, but it is too close to this 9-bark, which I thought would happen eventually, but I didn't realize how fast, because this 9-bark is growing fantastic, and that's okay. So I'm going to actually move the bobo hydrangea to over there on the other side of the bed. I am leaving this peony here. Peonies don't like to be moved, and it's fine in front of the thing here, but there's a peony shoot coming up there. I think that's motherwort back there. I'm going to double check, but I'm going to dig those up and put them somewhere else. I mean, they're a weed. I didn't plant them purposely, but I do like them. So I just noticed that I planted some alliums back here that'll hopefully be behind where my fountain goes. Well, they will. They should. That's where I planted them. And I see them starting to come up. So that's exciting news. The little gnome juniper there in the middle is looking great. That tree beyond it is a crabapple, and it has all sorts of, like the parts that aren't supposed to be part of it, that are like the water spouts and stuff, are bigger than the actual tree now. So that's all going to come out. Yes. All right. Oh, there's a big thistle there. You see that? I'm going to have to dig that out. That shouldn't be there. There's Gara, which I'll cut back and hopefully will come back. Although some of it might be moved. Like, I don't know. I'm thinking about it. That's the spot. That blank spot there is where Bobo is going to go. There is, look at this. This is, I think, a Blueberry Delight is, I think, what it's called, juniper. Isn't it pretty? It's so pretty. The shrub there in the middle of the screen for you is a, coralberry, I believe. It's the kind that gets the pink berries in the fall. And I got it like really on sale. It was a little questionable whether it was okay. And I waited like most of the year and most of the season to plant it. So I'm not sure if it's alive, but it's one of those that I'm going to give it a little time and see what happens. I also planted a peony here that I think is coming back. I'm hoping it does too, because it was like non-existent when I planted it. Let's see. Well, I was more hopeful last time I checked. I thought I saw some pink in there, and I'm not seeing it now. No, that's a maple seed. So, oh no, here, look. I'm pretty sure this is it. There's something there. So we'll give that some time too. As I'm zooming out, I did plant a couple sedums in here last year. I just love the sedums when they're coming. I mean, they're cute all the time, but like they're just so fun when they first emerge. And then there's a lot of grass, and there's actually, I think, cattails. So they're just weeding to do, and there's a pot of something that didn't get planted, and we got a little bit of mess happening. I'll get to it eventually. So that is, the sun went behind a cloud on me. It's actually getting a little, it's not going to go down yet, but we're getting towards where I'm going to need to make dinner. So I'm gonna keep going here. I was trying not to take too long, but I needed to sneak this tour in between, well, all of the stuff I'm doing, as well as rainstorms. We're getting some thunder and stuff coming through. Not as bad as out in the Midwest. Ooh, we're gonna let this truck go by. Oh, it's like a, can you see that? It's like a tanker. I don't know what that is. Don't know what that is. Okay. All right, so I'm coming out to the potager. Here we are. There is a lot of weeding to do out here, but my raised beds are all prepped. All the ones up front here, most of them I did last fall, and then obviously the newest one. Ta-da! Just got filled and covered with straw yesterday. 2 of these beds, this one, has stuff in it. And it's not, let's see if I can find, I was looking, oh, here we go. They're coming up really slowly. I think this is the biggest one. Well, I think it grew since I checked it yesterday. So this is going to be a bed of cut flower bulbs, spring bulbs. So there's daffodils and tulips of different varieties in here. There might be some alliums on the end as well. I can't remember, so I'm so relieved to see some coming up. Whew. I felt like everything was so slow this year. And then this one's my garlic, which also is like, it's definitely slower coming up than in past years. Oh, you can see like a little one in here. Can you see that? Green there. And I've just been very slowly weeding. I didn't even clear this bed last year. I just eventually gave up on it. And so I'm trying to get it cleared. It's like at the top of the list this year. You can see I started, and I do need to cover that. I was hoping to, anyway, put some compost on it and then cover it with some straw. But I wanted to get like the path next to it clear as well. Anyway, this is hopefully going to mostly be flowers this year, actually. And I want to put a lot of my cool flowers in here. My snapdragons are going back on the side where they were before, and you can see where I started. I actually pulled back the landscape fabric to weed and put some compost down. Yeah, that's that. There's going to be some big changes in here this year that I was trying to get to last year and I didn't get to. So this whole area here used to be like my bean TB structure. And, there's what's probably a mulberry tree growing there, so we need to cut that. I'm going to actually turn this into a gravel section and build a table to put here. So I have a plan. I'm going to get that started soon. And my potatoes are going to go back where they were, but that needs to be kind of like cleaned up and refreshed. You can see all the area back there. There are so many projects to do out here, and I'm going to try to bring you along with me. The last thing I'm going to show you out here is actually my quince tree, which I am aware it's very tilted. It is too late to fix that. I'm trying to let it grow like a leader that's like somewhat straight. It's just going to be wonky shaped, and we're just going to love it anyway. But the daffodils that go around the base and the alliums are up. They're budding up. I swear I was out here 2 days ago weeding this quince bed. I put compost down and around, and there's actually some sweet violets in here as well that I found, so I tried to put them gently in the soil. They were actually kind of in the path, so hopefully they'll root in. But I swear they've grown several inches since I was out here. Lovely. So with the willows behind me, they're still in their yellow shading, but they're starting to grow a little bit. It's wonderful, wonderful to be outside. I'm so excited for this gardening season. It just brings me peace and joy. And so I'm hoping to give you a little bit of that peace and joy in these videos as well. Until next time, friends, happy gardening.